got about a 1.5 mile hike to do to get to where we're going to stay tonight. And the pack, pretty heavy. We got all I'm gonna need to spend the night and all the camera gear. And that's not it. That's not all. That is not all at all. This is the first production trip out, and the pack is pretty heavy. All of the gear again that I'm going to need to stay the night, as well as all of the camera gear. This thing is a beast. I have hiked heavyweight plenty, but certainly I'm not used to it. Me at 48 years old, I'm really just hoping this is not going to be bad. Doesn't feel too bad for now. That's the gear I'm going to need for the weekend mostly. I've got a few goodies here that I'm going to be trying to pack in my hip pockets. Power bars. Some lemon cookies. Some granola. Skull cap, I think, that I'm going to take just in case it gets cold tonight. All right, most of the camera gear. Stick this skull cap down into the camera bag. Let's do this. What's happening, everybody? Welcome to another edition of Whiskey and Woods. B-roll.
Been on this trail many times. Let's get going.
everybody. Don't be mad. This is a little crude. However, I had to save a little weight. Didn't bring any glasses, but I will be showing you the clarity of blue. What we got here today is Wild Turkey 101 Kentucky Straight Bourbon. We'll taste it. But before we taste it, let's learn a little bit about it. It's by the Wild Turkey Distilling Company. It's a division of Camari Group. Alright, check this out. Listen to this history. In 1891, Thomas Rippey built an old hickory distillery in Tyrone, Kentucky, near Lawrenceburg, on the former site of the old Moore Distillery. After Prohibition, the Rippey family, where Thomas had died in 1902, repaired the distillery and began to again produce bourbon. The Rippeys sold the bourbon produced at this distillery to various wholesalers who bottled the bourbon under their own brands. Austin Nicholas was one of those wholesalers. The Wild Turkey brand is said to have risen after an Austin Nicholas executive, Thomas McCarthy, took some warehouse samples on a Wild Turkey hunting trip in 1940. The bourbon proved to be so popular among his friends, they continued to ask him for that Wild Turkey bourbon. Austin Nicholas began to bottle Wild Turkey in 1942. The Rippeys were bought out in 1949 by Robert and Alvin Gauld. For 3 decades after introducing Wild Turkey, Austin Nicholas remained a non-distiller producer, bottling bourbon purchased on the open market under their Wild Turkey brand. Much of this whiskey was purchased from the Rippeys Gauld Distillery in Tyrone. In 1971, Austin Nicholas purchased the facility, then known as Boulevard Distillery, and changed the name to the Wild Turkey Distillery. On May 9, 2000, a fire destroyed the 7-story aging warehouse at the company in Anderson County, Kentucky. It contained more than 17,000 wooden barrels of whiskey. Burning whiskey flowed from the warehouse, setting the woods on fire, causing limestone deposits to explode. Firefighters saved Lawrenceburg's water treatment plant from destruction. However, an estimated 20% of the whiskey flowed into the Kentucky River. The river contamination required temporary shutdown of the water treatment plant. Officials ordered water usage restrictions. Businesses and schools were closed because of the water shortage. The alcohol spill also depleted the oxygen in the river, killing an estimated 228,000 fish along the 66-mile stretch. The EPA and the Coast Guard Gulf Strike Team aerated the river using equipment mounted on barges. The company paid $266,000 to Kentucky Department of Fish and Wildlife in an effort to store the fish population in the river. In 2009, the Camari Group acquired the distillery and the Wild Turkey brand from Pernod Ricard. In 2011, Wild Turkey began to be distilled at a newly constructed facility near the old distillery. The new distillery site, where the old bottling facility was previously located, it was bottled by the Austin Nicholas division of Camari Group until the division was renamed. In 2013, Camari opened a new bottling facility at the Wild Turkey Distillery. For the previous 13 years, Wild Turkey has been bottled off-site in India and later Arkansas. In addition to Wild Turkey products, Campiar Sky, that is SKYY, vodka is also bottled there after being shipped from the Illinois distillery. All right, good stuff, y'all. Interesting info. All right, y'all, before we get into the tasting, let's see what information we got here about Wild Turkey 101. So it's 101 proof. It'll be about 50.5% alcohol by volume. It's blended of 6, 7, and 8-year-old bourbons. 75% corn, 13% rye, and 12% malted barley. You got the nose notes, which are supposed to be toffee, caramel, spices and vanilla, toasted oak, and butterscotch. The palate is said to be vanilla, maple and cinnamon, charred oak and spice. The finish is supposed to be a medium length with a bite, dry aftertaste, spice, pepper, with an oak dominant. All right, let's see. And incidentally, y'all, this is the first time I've tasted Wild Turkey 101 in the few years that I've been drinking bourbon. I do enjoy most Kentucky Straights that I've tasted. Let's see what this stuff is like. The nose is rather mild. Toffee for sure. Caramel. Not a lot of vanilla. I'm not getting a lot of vanilla anyway. Butterscotch for sure. And the taste. Tasting notes. Vanilla for sure comes out in the palate. Maple, yes, but cinnamon, charred oak, absolutely. Spice, whatever. Rather from my taste anyway, a tougher bite rather than medium. It is a dry aftertaste. Pepper, not so much. And oak, absolutely. But it's good. I like it. I think I'll be adding Wild Turkey 101 to my bar. Well, thank you, everybody. This has been another edition of Whiskey and Woods. I do appreciate you joining me. Don't forget to like and subscribe and smash or punch that notification bell so you can get notified when the next video hits. As always, don't worry about the best tasting whiskey. Just drink what you like and however you like it. Peace. Check this out. It's raining. A mile and a half, came through it. I didn't get soaked, but I did get wet. I was able to keep all the gear dry as well. And we're headed home. It's a nice trip. Didn't get to do as much video as I wanted to, but we got a little done. I'm happy. I did have to share the site with another hiker. Wasn't a bad experience. We had some good conversations. Steve, if you're watching, hey man, I made it. I'm in the car. Got about an hour and 15 minutes travel, maybe more because of the rain. We'll see how the roads are. But I'll get there. Peace.